Ladies and gentlemen, boys and pearls, welcome to episode 14 of the Bearded Purl Podcast. I'm Caleb.
I'm Justin.
And this is a podcast about the fiber arts and other crafty shenanigans. We want to thank you for joining us this week and welcome all returning viewers and all new viewers.
Where can you find us?
You can find us on Instagram, Ravelry, and YouTube as The Bearded Purl.
The Bearded Purl.
So welcome, everybody.
Episode 14. It feels like spring. Kind of.
Almost.
I mean, it feels less like winter.
There you go. So what have we been up to?
We have had... first of all, I'm going to say congratulations to us for having our act together enough to show up
2 weeks.
2 weeks later. It's been 2 weeks since our last confession. We've been really busy.
He's still alive.
I'm still alive.
Although if you saw the blooper reel before this, might not be for long. I'm kidding. You're the light of my life.
That's right, I am. And don't you forget it. Sigh. Okay, business first. It's going to be this kind of episode, I can already tell. Things that are important. We now know how to include chapters in our videos. So if you're not interested in hearing about the shenanigans of the last 2 weeks, there's something you can click next to the little timestamp.
If you go in the description box below, you will see different timestamps for the different chapters in the videos. And I'll go back and add these in to previous videos as well. But you'll be able to see the different timestamps, and that's where each section will begin. And if you click on that timestamp, it'll bring you automatically to that section. Or if you click on the
timestamp itself.
Yes, in the what is that, like the time bar in the video, it will bring up each chapter and section that you can click on as well. So
if you don't want to listen to this part,
almost a year into this, and I'm figuring out some technology stuff. So
if you don't want to hear this garbage, and why would you? Or maybe you do. Stick around, jump ahead.
Jump around, jump.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay.
Well, what have we been up to? Let's see. It's been a very busy 2 weeks. Good things have happened. We got to join Knit Night for the first time in a long time. That was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Got to see friends and be harassed for not having been around for a while. So that was great. We left the house.
We did leave the house.
And ate dinner in a public place. We went to a restaurant.
First time in a year. So that was...
Not quite.
Well, almost.
I haven't been in a restaurant in about 5 months.
Well, I mean together.
Oh, first time together in a restaurant in a year, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which
that was
nice.
An interesting experience.
Different, but good.
Expensive. I forgot how much it costs to pay someone else to cook your food and bring it to you.
But after doing it for a year, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it was nice. We had a delicious meal out. I would say as safe as it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
The restaurant had good protocols in place. The servers were fantastic.
Everyone that was there was doing well at adhering to them. And I'm not going to say it felt great, but it felt good.
Yeah, I came home not in a full panic, but not itching to go do it again right away.
But at some point, it'll be nice to kind of start to return to some of the things that we have been missing out.
Yeah, so that was fun. Oh, 2 weeks ago, where the craziness really started, we are in the middle of refinancing our house.
Mm-hmm. Which happened just in the nick of time.
Oh, right? Interest rates, ridiculous. So we have had an appraisal as part of the refinancing process, which involves a human being coming into your home. And we keep a clean house. For sure, we do a lot of cleaning, but occasionally, or all the time, it looks like a craft bomb has exploded.
Usually right after the cleaning. Because it's like, oh, a bunch of clean, flat surfaces.
Right,
Let's
and then
pile them full of stuff.
And then all of the boxes show up, which is a daily occurrence. So not having human beings in your house for a year reduces the need to clean up some of those things.
Or do the fine deep cleaning that we were used to doing. So I'm talking about like washing baseboards, cleaning blinds, washing the chandelier, like scrubbing the bathroom tile. Not that this stuff doesn't get done regularly, but
Not all the time. Yeah, those are not
right.
weekly cleaning
But
chores.
That's like I clean the chandelier twice a year. So there's schedules to these things, and when you haven't had people over in a year, everything gets done at once. So it's like a mad dash, 24-hour cleaning rush.
Or some Christmas is still out because no one sees it but us.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Easter wreath of 2020.
Thanks, Michelle, who totally called us out on that, by the way. But long story short, we had an appraisal scheduled, and the Friday before we recorded last, I got a phone call in the afternoon from the appraiser. Sorry, I have a piece of mohair flying into my eye. The appraiser called and left a message saying, Tuesday morning works great for us. Call us back, let us know. And Tuesday morning did not work, mostly because of my work schedule. I had a very large call that I was leading, and Tuesday morning was not going to work. So we did some things over the weekend, did some touch-up painting that had been on the to-do list, just some little things that we hadn't finished that we were getting on top of and thinking it would be great to do before the appraisal. So I call back Monday morning thinking that I'm going to postpone this maybe like a week or at least a few days. Yeah, just to give us time to get everything cleaned up and mostly to do some of the little projects that we've either started and hadn't finished or hadn't started yet. Well, long story short, the appraiser was not having any part of it. And he was very nice, but he said, oh no, I'm going to be in your area Tuesday morning. I can come at 9:30, which didn't work, or I could come at 7:30. So Monday turned into a 12-hour cleaning frenzy.
And it's not that our house is dirty, but I just felt
we're really particular though when people are coming over.
Right. Like
we do deep cleaning.
Floors get washed, vacuumed, cleaned, like polished, like everything.
So yeah,
probably for no good reason because no one notices anyways. But
Monday was busy.
I know.
Yeah, Monday was busy, but the good news is we went through a fury of cleaning and kind of got most of our spring cleaning done in the course of one day.
Right.
Thank goodness I had the sense to start painting over the weekend because all of the touch-up painting got done on Sunday. Actually, after we recorded, I started doing painting. And when we moved in, we've lived in our house for 3 years now. The previous owners were a little bit careless when they removed things from the walls. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of nail holes and some dents. They had a dog that had left a couple of little scratches and some things. The movers, when we moved in,
when they moved out, when we moved in,
yeah, did some bumping of walls, and there were some things that needed to be done that had just been low priority. So I had patched them up last spring, gotten everything sanded on the drywalls, but hadn't finished all of the touch-up painting. And thank goodness, what the previous owners did do that was wonderful is they left us very well labeled paint for every room in the house. So we got touch-up painting done, which is great. That had been on the to-do list for a while. Got a lot of little things taken care of. So Monday was kind of a terrible day.
And it's amazing how fresh and new everything can look when you like repaint the little nicks and scratches, and like it's like a whole new house.
And we're lucky enough that because we don't have kids or dogs and we're not personally super destructive, not to say kids and dogs are, but compared to our cats that just sleep all day,
right.
We got a lot done. So the house looks really fresh and nice on the inside, which is great. So that was Monday. Tuesday morning by 7:50 in the morning, the whole thing was over and done with. Our house looked like
in like 15 minutes.
A ghost town. Yeah, but that went well. Then Sunday night, so going back into the middle of the cleaning fury, or Monday night, I guess, I realized that my ring was missing a diamond. Mm-hmm. Super fun. Mm-hmm. Since it probably got vacuumed up and thrown away.
I'm sure I sucked it up in the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, so that was fun. So no ring.
I also don't have one.
So another fun story. Last weekend, I drove down to Milwaukee to take our rings to the jeweler for their 6-month inspection, which was 2 months late. Because COVID. And the jeweler we bought them at is a it's a national chain, but the location that was close to our apartment has closed during COVID. So we had to go farther in.
Which we did not know.
Yeah, which we did not know.
Which also added to the reason why they were late.
Yes. So long story short, I also get to buy a new diamond for my ring because they don't replace them for free when you don't bring it in every 6 months for inspection. But I'm glad that I did because a second stone was loose. This is also the second one that I've lost. Mm-hmm. So apparently I'm a monster. I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what I'm doing because I don't...
I love that you are so careful with yours. And I mean, mine, I could fish it out of the garbage disposal and it would still be fine. However...
You also had a loose stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in the inspection, you had a loose stone. I had a missing stone, which is the second one that I've lost, and another one was missing. So the rings are off getting fixed, but that's another thing that's been on our to-do list is get that taken care of. So check. What else have we done?
So the touch-up painting has led to us wanting to... I mean, I've been wanting to repaint the kitchen for a while because it's a charcoal color.
Seal gray.
Is the actual name?
Is the actual name.
Okay, well. Seal gray.
In case you're curious, since I've just touched up the walls, I know exactly what color it is.
Is it bare?
Yes.
Okay. In case you were wondering. But it's like a charcoal color. We'll just... And throughout the day, our kitchen gets a ton of natural light. But in the evening, when the sun starts to go down, there's really not a lot of great light in the evening. So because the walls are so dark...
when the sun goes down, there's not a lot of light in our kitchen.
I meant when we turn the lights on. So when we turn the lights on, there's not a lot of lighting that keeps the kitchen bright and easy to work in. So you have to turn on every single light you can find. And so I wanted to take the shade of the wall up a couple of colors. And so we've actually decided on that color. And we decided on painting...
Did you bring the swatch?
Well, I did because I used it as a bookmark. So we're going to go with this color.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
No. We're going with flagstone. Did you bring that one?
Yes, which is basically this color.
But not that color. We're going with not that color.
We're going with a lighter gray than charcoal.
We're going with a color similar to that color.
Now, we decided on this color. We actually did decide on the color. For the kitchen.
Which is not that one, by the way.
In like 2 minutes. Had a bunch of swatches. Set them up against the wall. Boom. Color. Now, the bathroom color that we've decided to repaint, which was your idea. We've gone through, I don't know, every shade of green we can find and still haven't decided.
No.
I'm going to blame you for that one.
So for context, we got really lucky when we moved in. The previous owners had repainted in 2017. So not too many years ago.
It was November of 2017 and we moved in March.
Of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right. So there are several colors in our house, but we actually really liked the color palette and it went with our taste and our decor for the most part. So we didn't change anything. And what we said is, while we wouldn't have picked out some of these colors, we liked them all and they all worked for the rooms in our house. I'm futzing with my glasses a lot today. They just keep sliding down. Sorry, I'm very distracted by myself. So we decided when we moved in that we would leave everything painted the color that it was and then decide if we wanted to change anything up based on our taste changing or new furniture, anything different we wanted to do.
Or just a refresh.
Yeah, just a refresh. And the bathroom is a light green, a light bluish green color. And
we're not going to get into the blue-green debate again, but I would say
it is more blue than yellow, though. It's a more blue-green than a yellow-green. Yes. And it looks at different times in the day like a washed out version of a color. So I was thinking maybe we go a little bit greener and a little bit darker with the shade, but I think we like the green in the bathroom.
And I think part of the problem is they used
a matte.
It's like an eggshell
paint,
which you should not use in that bathroom. So we need something a little bit shinier that can help deflect some of that moisture.
So that is in the works still.
So we're still trying to decide on a bathroom color.
We're debating.
Even though the majority of the bathroom is white, because there's tile and trim and tile on the floor, and the wall and our vanity.
It's also very
All
bright.
white.
So even though it's a very tiny bathroom, it's in a hallway that gets natural light, and there are essentially one whole wall of the bathroom is window. So it gets a lot of natural light, and it's a south-facing window. So it's beautiful throughout the day. It's really bright and could handle a darker color. Not that we're going really dark, but anyway, that's to come. So also on the list, a couple of people have asked about our bathroom vanity situation that we mentioned to you in January when we had a harebrained thought one day to take the old vanity off the wall. So update on the vanity. Sigh. The vanity doesn't fit. The sink top of the vanity
if you
doesn't
watched
fit.
the Vanity Saga in
January,
you know that the top was too big, and we're not going to rehang the door. We're not going to shave it. It didn't work.
Well, and
just by pure accident,
the sink itself is made of vitreous china and cannot be ground down.
Should not be.
Should not be.
Right.
Yeah.
Tricky.
So we, in the time frame between then and now, picked out a sink, a drop-in sink, because the undermount sinks require more depth than we have. We've got plenty of width for anything.
Unless we want a
to
really
do.
tiny sink.
Yeah, like a little, like. So we found a sink, ordered the sink. It's a pretty white drop-in that
Came
we
in
got.
3 days.
Yeah, shipped from literally 100 feet across from our neighborhood to Milwaukee and then back up here because you can't pick anything up right now. And then last week we went out, or I went out, I guess you didn't come with me, and picked out a slab of quartz to have a countertop cut for the top of the vanity for the sink to drop in. And they've come out and measured, and I'm actually expecting they'll be done this week. It should be a pretty quick turnaround, but we're excited.
Nothing like getting a vanity at an absolute steal of a deal and then having to completely buy everything new to fit the vanity, ergo negating the deal.
But ending up with a completely beautiful custom vanity in the
that
process.
That
fits. Literally with the guy standing with me in the bathroom with a tape measure and us ooching the existing vanity that's currently not attached to the wall out to figure out down to the millimeter or eighth of an inch how much clearance we had to close the door. So it should be great. We're really excited. It costs an obscene amount of money to be able to see like 3 inches of quartz on the outside.
To cut a
of the
giant
sink.
hole out of a tiny piece of scrap countertop.
To take a piece of scrap this big, cut a hole out of it that's this big. But it's going to be great.
Right.
I'd say the other positive here is that it's taken so much time and caused so much pain and suffering that you have now acquiesced to let me call the plumber to connect the plumbing instead of trying to do it yourself. So while that will cost even more money, it'll be done.
That phase of me doing the plumbing has come and gone.
Come and gone.
I'm wholly uninterested right now to be dealing with that.
So we're going to have professional plumbing installation, which is great. We're going to use the same plumber that ran the gas line for the stove, and he was fantastic. Yeah. So we're excited to get that done. Hopefully by the time we talk to you next.
And did we plan on doing basically an entire bathroom remodel?
No. Oh, now we're also talking about replacing the lighting fixture and ripping the...
But because we've gone through all of this trouble to redo the tile in the shower and the surrounding area and like patch the holes, fix the trim.
It's a trap. This is how people end up in the middle of renovation projects. Yeah.
And
let's go to the associate sale and buy a vanity for 75% off, we said.
The worst part is none of this needed to be done except the tile. Like we needed to fix it and patch the grout.
Yeah.
But other than that, none of this needed to be done.
Does it ever? I mean, sometimes.
But on the plus side, new bathroom.
Why not?
It's great.
So that's what's been going on in our life. Is that it? I think so. I made a list of funny things. Oh, and it's spring.
Which means I'm probably a week behind, 2 weeks behind on starting some of our seeds for outside. So I'll get a couple of things started this weekend yet, and then I ordered a couple of seeds from Johnny's Seeds, and I'm waiting for those to arrive. But otherwise, I'll use some of the ones we have from last year, and we'll get seed starting.
We're going to start inside cucumbers, lettuces, onions.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the cold hardy stuff.
Yeah, we had really good luck last year. The main thing we're doing differently this year is instead of starting seeds in little trays or containers, we have a seed...
It's like a seed blocker.
So
it takes the soil and compacts it into a
little cube.
And then you plant your seeds on the top, and there's different sizes, but we got kind of the general all-purpose size. And that way you don't have to worry about like the plastic, you don't have to worry about the different like disintegrating peat pots.
And it's less traumatic on the seed when you transplant it. And the roots, the seeds don't get root bound. When the roots reach the air, when they get to the edge of the soil, they stop growing in that direction. So you end up with seeds that aren't root bound and they transplant better. So we're excited to try that.
So I think that'll be fun. So I'll get that started in the next week or two. And then one other thing that I just kind of wanted to talk about is I bought 2 new cookbooks that I thought you guys might enjoy. This is the first one. And I have the paint swatch in there as a bookmark because yesterday we made spinach dumplings, and not sure I would deal with going through making the we make pierogies, which are basically the same thing, but the dough is a little bit easier to work with. I would say that dumpling skin dough is not the same, but we made spinach dumplings, and it's kind of an okay picture.
And
but
by dumplings, we made 60 of them.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a pretty laborious process, but the good news is when you're done, kind of like making a pierogi or something, we cooked maybe 10 of them for dinner, and then we have another 50 in the freezer.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to cook so it is food prep, but it is a lot of work to get to dinner.
And I'll put these books in the show notes. But then I also got this Jenna Cakes and Sweet Treats book. And Christina from Chelsea Yarns showed this book a while back. And so this is the actual color we're going to paint the kitchen.
Flagstone, right in the middle.
But I was flipping through it and saw these lemon meringue sandwich cookies that had my name written all over them. So I'll be making those. But just some fun little cookbooks that I thought you guys would like. Every once in a while, I love to have cookbooks and look through them, but I don't necessarily always cook through them. So it's nice to find cookbooks that when you flip through them and read the recipes, you want to sit and cook through the cookbooks, which is great. Sometimes I feel that the cookbooks are pretty, but they're not necessarily practical.
Collecting cookbooks and using cookbooks are 2 different hobbies.
Basically everything we do is...
We buy a lot of cookbooks and then we look everything up on America's Test Kitchen.
Through the app. Yeah.
Through the app, yeah.
But it's nice to have the paper cookbook.
We love cookbooks. And we do actually get a lot of ideas.
And I do use a cookbook. I've made it a point last year to start actually using our cookbooks. How about that? Just because they're there, and sometimes it's nice to read out of an actual book and not off of a screen.
Well, we love to cook and bake.
Yeah.
We cook and bake all day, every day. Oh, speaking of cooking and baking, the one other thing we've been up to, you've already forgotten.
Because it was a traumatic experience.
We did a 5-day juice cleanse last week. From Saturday through Wednesday. 5 days, all juice, no foods.
6 juices a day. 5 days. That's a lot.
Which I wanted to do and signed up for.
And then I thought, oh, well, way to leave me out. Now I have to sign up for it. So I did. Wasn't mentally prepared to do a 5-day juice cleanse. You kind of have to get in the mood to do that.
So for 5 days, starting about hour 2 into the cleanse, you look like this.
sad.
Just sad.
I have realized through this process that I'm a grazer. So I will eat like little schnibbles of things throughout the day. And the only really big meal...
You eat breakfast and you eat dinner.
Yeah. I don't really do lunch, but I like schnibbles throughout the day. Not having snacks or, you know, a handful of nuts or some fruit. I missed it.
I think you said
I miss food.
Every 30 minutes, all day, every day for 5 days. I miss snacks. You were really sad.
That's true.
You were so sad that you got out of bed like at 6 a.m. on Thursday morning to help me make breakfast so that you could eat food. Which is true. Not your normal.
I was like awake and ready to go,
but it was fun. It was a great experience. It was a good process.
Overall, I think it was a great reset. I would do it again. Probably a 3-day, not a 5-day. That's a commitment. And yeah, I mean, it was good. It was a nice refresh, and just like I'm not gonna say that I did it because like I needed a detox or anything like that, but it was just a good reset. And
we'll leave it there.
Yeah. Next time I'll be more prepared mentally.
But you ordered cookbooks while on the juice cleanse.
I did. You know, that was the one thing, because I couldn't have food.
All you did was watch cooking shows.
All I did was watch cooking shows, ask people to send me pictures of what they had for dinner, and order cookbooks. As one does. It wasn't a form of torture. It was a form of enjoyment. Like, via others.
Yes, vicarious living.
Anyways.
Well, we're 26 and a half minutes in. Thank goodness for chapters. How about we actually talk about crafting?
Right, which is why we're here. So,
go figure.
Do you want to start? Do you have any finished objects?
I do.
You have multiple finished objects. Not fair.
I have 2.
Yeah, but they're big projects. Anyways, get started with it.
I have 2 finished objects. One of them I am wearing. This is my flax sweater by Tin Can Knits. I finished this in 15 days. Thank you. Now I have tendonitis. And my wrist and my elbow hurt so bad. So I may not I'm not doing any knitting today for sure. And I don't know. I'm going to give myself a couple of days off. I don't feel like I was knitting unusually fast or a lot. But anyway, this is my sweater that I finished. I knit it out of, let's see, I have 2 yarns that I totally did not have up here and ready to go. I mean, kind of. I'm kind of ready. So this is knit. This is a free pattern by Tin Can Knits on Ravelry. It's the flax. They have 2 versions. The original, which is written for worsted weight, and then a light version that's new that's written for, is it fingering weight? Mm-hmm. The other version. So mine is knit out of 2 yarns held together. It's the Ba Ram U Dovestone DK, which is 100% British wool, and this is the colorway Brass Band. And I held that together with...
Which is a very, like, a greenish toned gold, but it is gold.
Yeah, I think it comes across really true to color on the video. It's kind of a bright yellowish, brassy color. Mm-hmm. I think Brass Band is a great description. And I held that together with this Aves Fiber Works mohair silk in the colorway Owl Sienna. And those 2 came together to give something that's kind of a nice coppery color. I am thrilled with the way it turned out. I bought this Dovestone at our local yarn store in the Milwaukee area when you were still working there. So I've probably had it for maybe 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I bought it with the goal of knitting a flax, and I started one. Go figure, here's my MO. I knit it the first time, 7 sizes too big, and I dropped 100 stitches along the way. I don't know what my problem was. So I knit it a size that was way too big. I dropped a bunch of stitches along the way, so I ended up ripping it out. And this time, because it was a DK written for a worsted weight pattern, and I'm a little bit of a loose knitter anyway, so I was struggling to even get the right gauge before, so I decided to hold it with the mohair, and I'm really glad that I did. The fabric is gorgeous. It's really soft. I just have a t-shirt on underneath it, and the mohair I'm not finding itchy at all. It would be a little bit tricky maybe around my neck if I wasn't freshly shaven like I am this morning. So I'll probably end up with mohair everywhere. on a day like that. But otherwise, I'm really thrilled with the way it turned out. A couple of notes about my knitting, I guess. I knit the adult large, which is a 43-inch chest. The pattern is written for a US 6 and a US 8. I knit mine on a US 7, which is a 4.5 millimeter. So I went down a little bit. The only modifications I made in the pattern, I made just a few small changes. I cast on the neck with a US 3, which is a 3.25. So the pattern would have called for a 6. And if you've seen sometimes people's flax necks tend to be really wide.
Really any sort of like top-down sweater or raglan. Sometimes people who have some troubles getting their necklines to kind of pull in a little bit closer, knit the ribbing a little bit tighter, knit it on a smaller gauge, and that will usually help.
I'm finding that a US 3, it's the same needle I used for my Ruska, and I didn't adjust the stitch count in the collar at all. I just did it on a needle that was a couple of sizes smaller,
Right.
and I find that it gave a really nice collar. So this is a pretty tight-fitting t-shirt. It's not a really wide neck, and if I had on a collared dress shirt or something, it would sit really nicely. It's not so tight that it would look unusual there. So that's one modification I did, was to cast on a US 3. My gauge still wasn't exactly correct, and I was afraid I was going to knit a little bit larger, so I did stop one raglan increase short of the recommendation. So just 4 stitches difference in the chest itself, but then I added 2 stitches back into each sleeve when I picked them up. So what I essentially ended up with was 2 less stitches in the body circumference around. So I made that adjustment. Tin Can Knits has come out with an optional short row shaping for both the flax and the flax light. It's just a free pattern you can purchase, and they've updated their original pattern. Did you just dribble all over yourself? What is happening? Get the baby aspirin.
Oh, man.
Keep an eye on him, everybody. Let me know if he goes down.
This is a new shirt, too.
We can't take you anywhere. Well, you know why you spilled on yourself. It's because it's the first time we've sat down at this table and you haven't slammed into it and knocked your tea or my tea or your coffee all over the place.
It never fails. Every time we sit down, ready to start recording, I bump into this table and splash my coffee or my tea.
Yeah,
every time.
That's a clean coaster. I could show the ones that are covered in stains now. Oh, like this one?
It's fine.
Anyway, so the Tin Can Knits has now included an update for optional short row shaping in the back. If you've not done short row shaping in the back of a sweater before, the intent, if you look, it's a little bit hard to tell, but if you look at the sweater right now, the back sits up about 1 inch or 1.5 inches higher than the front, which is how a normal sweater would fit. Or it's a nice way for a sweater to fit that would come up a little bit higher in the back instead of a little bit lower in the front. If they were even front and back, the sweater would be the same on the front and back, so it would be reversible. But then what happens is the neckline in the back ends up being a lot lower like this. So some people like that look, some people don't. It would be totally optional. It was very easy to do the short row shaping.
It also helps the back of the sweater to lay level or even with the front of the sweater.
Right.
Or vice versa.
It lays really nicely. So there is a distinct front and back in the sweater. Other than the short row shaping, though, it's identical. And then the flax, again, includes a garter detail that goes all the way down the sleeve. So you can see it goes from the collar in the center of the sleeve portion all the way down to the cuff. So really the only modifications I made were decreasing the needle here. I did 1 less raglan increase in the chest, and then I think I did my cuffs on the sleeves and on the body of the sweater on a 5 instead of a 6. So just adjusting a couple of needle sizes, but otherwise I'm thrilled with how it turned out. I love the way it fits. It's really comfortable. Yeah, I'm very pleased. I think that's it. So this would be a great go-to pattern for me now. You could easily, I'm thinking about knitting another one, and instead of the garter detail on the sleeve, doing a cable or something like that. You could even do it all stockinette if you wanted just a basic raglan top-down sweater. And if you've not knit with Tin Can Knits patterns before, there are so many sizes available, from tiny child, like toddler, all the way up through adult. There's at least 6 sizes bigger than this one. So I'm not sure how inclusive it is for adults, knowing that some of those sizes are child, but because there are so many sizes, there's a lot of options, and it would be pretty easy to modify.
Well, and I think they do a good job of getting in between a lot of the more common sizes. So they will have what they consider like a small, medium, large. And really it's just an inch or two different, but it makes a difference for some people that, you know, are on that in-between spectrum with a lot of different patterns. I find that sometimes the smalls are just the right size or they're way too big. So it's nice to have those kind of reference points.
I feel like both of us end up being in between sizes all the time.
Yeah.
Like I want a 41, not a 39 and a half or a 43 and a half.
I want a 39 and a half.
Yeah, so they're uncommon sizes. But anyway, I'm really thrilled with this. Very pleased with how it turned out. And I cranked it out in 15 days. I finished it last night, very late last night, and had cast it on just 2 Fridays before. So I'm really pleased with that. And then I have one more FO, if you want me to share.
Go for it.
Yeah. I finished my socks that I showed last time. These are it's just a plain stockinette sock, and it's with Woolens and Nosh yarn. It's on her 7525 Superwash Corriedale nylon base in the colorway Swizzle. I love the socks. I love how they turned out.
These are perfect for spring.
They're such fun colors. In fact, I think Michelle told me that her inspiration was, I think I said in one of the videos I made Bahamas, but I think it's actually Jamaica. Is it the drink? Like the drink of Jamaica is something called the swizzle, the rum swizzle or something like that. Anyway,
I thought it was based off of like the houses.
Well, the name is based off of the drink, but the colors are inspired by the houses in the city.
Gotcha.
Because, you know, colorful houses isn't necessarily a great colorway name. I mean, it could be, I guess. But anyway, it's a great colorway. I really enjoyed knitting with the yarn. I knit a 72 stitch sock on a US 0, which is a 2mm needle. I've been having fun. I've been doing video tutorials of my favorite sock techniques. So I've done one for the cast on that I like to use. I did one for the heel flap and heel turn that we'll have coming out, picking up the stitches. And then these also have the anatomical toe that I like to include on my socks. I will say it's 100 grams skein of yarn, and I was nervous because it's a really thick fingering weight yarn, and there's only, did I write it down? 383 yards of yarn in the skein. So I was afraid to make them too tall and afraid that I would run enough yarn. But I ended up having 16 grams left over. I had plenty. Now I only had 3 grams of the mini. So I was definitely playing yarn chicken a little bit with the mini, but I had more than enough yarn. I wear a men's 9 or 9.5 shoe. So the sock is about 10 1/4 from heel to toe. And I would have had plenty of yarn to make them at least another inch longer. And then I didn't measure the cuff, but it's probably about 7 inches or so. So I'm really happy with how they turned out. Excited to have them done and looking forward to casting on another pair of socks. What have you been up to?
I just dropped my ball of yarn. Hold on.
Yarn down!
My finished object for this week is I did a little bit of spinning. And this is by one of my favorite fiber sources, and that is Wound Up Fiber Arts. That's Trisha. And this is on her custom base, which is her super sock base, 90% superwash merino, 10% nylon, and it spins like butter. It is so nice. I am excited to try a couple of the other bases that she has, but this is the colorway Old Book. And so it's there's a lot of gray and brown and purple in it. Mm-hmm. These skeins barber pulled quite a bit in some of the areas, which I'm okay with, which means that the colors that twisted around each other are different instead of being similar. So you can see kind of right there.
High contrast.
High contrast. Mm-hmm. but then a couple of the strands, they matched up, which is nice. But so I ended up getting a sport weight somewhere between 650, 700 yards. And this is for 8 ounces. So these were 2 braids that I spun as a single and then applied them together. I'm really enjoying spinning the 2-plies lately, but I'm not sure what I'll do with these. I say that about all my hand spun, but I really am just enjoying the process of it.
This is, you've been spinning a lot of 2-ply yarn lately, which is fairly new for you.
Right. Normally I would do a Navajo or a chain ply, which is the same thing, which is where you take your single and then ply it back on itself to get a 3-ply. But
and
I'm enjoying it.
We typically do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, then you don't have to divide up your yarn.
Right.
So you can just spin your single
Fiber.
forever. Your fiber, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're wanting to avoid some of the barber pulling, the chain ply or Navajo ply allows you to maintain the same color in a section.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had something like a gradient, like what I spun recently, you may want a chain ply or a Navajo ply. You could do it with a traditional 3-ply, but you'd have to really plan ahead and divide up a braid.
Right, which
We're not that
did not do
organized. Yeah, that looks great. I love the colors.
But I love it. I tried to add more twist initially in my single this time around. Normally I tend to underspin my singles, which makes a really nice fluffy yarn, but I want something that's a little bit smoother and not quite so fluffy. But it still turned out squishy and great. So
have you been changing your whirl?
I have.
And spinning tighter when you're plying?
Yes. So I've been spinning on a whirl or pulley that is larger than the one I ply on. So I've been going down 1 or 2 sizes to ply, which adds a tighter, faster twist when you're plying, which I feel like helped. So I did that with this.
The yarn looks nice and round. It looks good.
I like it a lot. Sometimes when you just have to play with it when you spin, but sometimes if you don't get the ratios just right, it will really look like a string of pearls, which is not a problem, but I'm going for a 2-ply that is a little bit more even. And I like it. I like the way it turned out.
You can use, you're creating spin cycle.
Basically.
It's happening.
Yeah. But I've been enjoying getting back at the wheel. It's a different type of meditation as opposed to, knitting or crocheting. Sometimes I just don't feel like knitting in the evening, and spinning is a way to make that happen. So
it's nice too, because I think it's easy to spin and watch TV or have a conversation. There's not any counting. You're not having to follow a pattern.
Right.
I also think it's nice to give your hands and your body, you're in a different body position when you're spinning. You're doing different hand motions and arm motions. And so I think it can help to break up. If you give yourself tendonitis, because apparently I have a knitting injury.
Well, and for a while there, I don't know what happened to my wrist, but it was really unhappy. And so that's kind of why I really started to get back into spinning, is because I needed to switch it up. And it worked. So
that's why it's helpful to have all the hobbies.
Yeah, all of them. Not
all
just one,
everyone.
Not 2. Everyone you can get your hands on.
Just pick one for the day or the week and go for it.
So that's my only finished object, but what else do you have to share? Do you have any other finished objects or FOs?
No.
Whoops.
A sweater and a pair of socks isn't enough for you? It's only been 2 weeks.
Okay.
Come on. No, I don't have anything. In fact,
before I forget, because this is my fun new mug. This is the Woodland pattern by Pitch Pine Pottery, and our friend Sarah from Murray and Wool Goods, Murray and Co. Wool Goods. I can never remember what it is. I'm sorry, Sarah. We talk pottery a lot, and so we enable the living daylights out of each other. And she has a bunch of these mugs in different styles and patterns that they've got, and then she has a cute little incense burner. And she has 2. She has a house and a wolf. But so we've been enabling each other to buy mugs, and she has like the mother of all mug collection, but I was able to score one of these in their recent update, which are really hard to shop because they sell out in minutes, and there's a little oak leaf on the bottom. I'm not going to spill more coffee on myself, but there's a little oak leaf, and very fun.
It's pretty.
But yeah, get back into
crafting.
Yeah.
So I literally just finished my socks yesterday morning and my sweater last night, so I have not cast on anything. I have zero works in progress.
I have a couple.
I don't have anything on the needles. Yeah, what are you doing?
Okay. So last time I showed a finished pair of the Spree socks by Kemper Ray, and so this color is Kitten Heels by Woolens and Nosh in her Superwash DK base.
It's really cute.
And so I was talking in the last pair about mismatching socks, and they really don't bother me. I have to be.
Which is why you're
totally
still not talking about them.
Oh, hush. Especially in a DK sock, I think it's pretty fun for them to be mismatched. But I did use the contrast color, which is black in this case, for the cuff, the heel, and the toe. So there is black in this game, but I decided to get a little bit more length out of these, so these are taller than my last pair. But
you had purchased a contrast. Did they come together as a kit, or did you buy the mini?
I bought it separately.
Independently.
So Michelle from Woolens and Nosh has the DK self-striping, and then she has 50-gram skeins of the... There's a bunch of contrast colors, and you can pick and choose which ones you like to add on for the skeins. But so that's the first sock, and I am really close to the toe.
Oh yeah, you are.
So I am right here on the second sock. But those will be done soon, and I love it. I think I'm gonna make a couple of other pairs of DK socks and stash them away as gifts.
They go so quickly.
They do.
And when it's 10 below outside, I mean, I say when it's 10 below, it's not like it's warm when it's 20 degrees outside either. And DK socks are nice to wear around the house. I mean, we're both working from home, and so we don't mind having on thick, cozy socks that wouldn't necessarily fit in our dress shoes. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, so I think one thing I'm going to try and do this year is Natalie from Remembrances Pottery has been working on getting 1 or 2 handmade gifts done every month. That way she's not rushing come the holiday season to, bang out a bunch of gifts and stress out and get those done. So I think I'm going to try and maybe make a couple of DK socks and stash those away as gifts, because my parents love socks and so does my sister. So definitely going to do some of those. And then my other whip is my Tamarack sweater.
Did you bring your pattern?
I didn't. It's Tamarack for Him by Brooklyn Tweed. Jared Flood designed it, and I'm knitting mine out of Corey in the Obsidian colorway. And Corey is a bulky weight yarn. It's a Columbia Tarhi base, 200 yards per 100 grams. So it's a really lightweight woolen spun kind of chunky yarn. Oh gosh, it's not working. So it's thick, but it's very, very lightweight.
It's a great color. I like the lighter bits that you can see in there that give it a lot of texture.
Yeah, it almost ranges in some spots. You can see, I'll hold it up, but you can see there's flecks of white and some gray, and so this is the whole body of the cardigan.
Is this the back?
Yeah. So if you open it up, give me this.
What is happening?
So if you open it up, you can see the 2 lines down the sides, and the back and the fronts. So I finished that, and this is moss stitch.
Where's the center?
Right here. This is the center back.
Okay, so these are like under the arm.
Yep, it's like a fake side seam.
Okay, when you held it up at first, the way it was folded, I thought that was in the center of the back. So that's under the arm.
This is under the arm. So I knit the whole body essentially of the sweater. So now I'm going to cast on the sleeves and knit those before I divide for my front and back. just to see how long I like the sleeves. I have short arms, and so sometimes knitting sweaters bottom up can leave me with sleeves that are a tad too long. But I think this is an oversized cardigan anyways, so I don't know if it's going to be that much of an issue to have things a little bit bigger.
That looks great. The cats seem to like it a lot too.
Yeah, there's cat hair all over it. Because I can't keep them off of any sort of wool. They just love it. But I'm really enjoying working on this. It's relatively mindless. The only thing that you have to pay attention to is which row you're on for your seed stitch, because it's a knit one, purl one. So it's basically a 1x1 rib that you repeat for 2 rows and then switch it, which is hard on the hands, especially in this yarn.
A springy woolen spun yarn.
So that's another reason why I've also been kind of switching it out in between spinning, because as much as I love it, knitting anything on a 10.5, a US 10.5, which is a 6.5 millimeter, and those are big needles, which can be hard on the hands, but I love it, and I have yarn picked out for a second one already. I know, nothing says spring like a chunky, dark colored cardigan.
I forgot you said that to me the other night. You were like, no, like I'm really in the spring mood. I'm loving my cardigan. And I said, you're dark gray. Oh no, it wasn't this. You went shopping online and you were talking about all of the spring colors you want.
And then I was mad because I forgot to order a black shirt. Yeah.
Right. Talking about how you needed a black shirt to go with your spring.
My spring colors.
Spring colors. I love this though. I would totally make one.
It's just a great staple. And I am, my favorite thing to wear and probably to knit is just a nice cozy cardigan. Mm-hmm. Pullovers are okay. I like a pullover, but I get much more wear out of a cardigan. Not that I ever close it or button it, but
that's the whole point. You don't have to.
I just like a cardigan. And the texture is great. I love it. It's worth the effort. It's not tricky, but
I like that a lot. Mm-hmm. It looks great.
And it's kind of interesting. Those fake side seams, I shouldn't say fake, but those intentional side seams are pearls on the front. So they're not as noticeable.
I'm trying to not get impaled in the eye again.
They're not as noticeable on the front as they are on the inside. So you can see the columns of knit stitches. But yeah, so those are my 2 works in progress. I don't really have anything else going right now. And I know that when I'm done with my socks, which I'll finish tonight, and my sweater, I want to start working on some more projects that are either kind of warmer weather focused, or for sure I want to make another sweater. But I'm thinking shawls, and I'm not sure what I want to knit though.
I am in a total sweater mood right now, which is, I love sweaters.
Coming into warmer weather,
right?
I want to knit sweaters.
Nothing says spring like sweaters, although we still have.
There's at least 2 or 3 months where we'll have to wear a sweater or long sleeves before it gets warm enough to.
Right. I feel like even, except for maybe July and August, and even then, depending on the evening, it's nothing for us to have an evening in the summer in the low 60s or even upper 50s. Like that's very real. Plus, if we're down by the lake,
right,
or just outside after the sun goes down, or there's any breeze whatsoever, I mean, it's not uncommon for us to be outside with a fire going and we have to bundle up, once the sun's down. So I think we get a lot of use out of them year round, but
well, that's another reason why I like cardigans so much, is that if you get a little bit warm, you can leave them open and
open them up, close them up. Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to cast on. Well, I have so many sweaters in my mental queue. I can't decide what I'm going to do next. I've been wanting to work on a Montrealer, and I have my Llamas in Drag yarn that I've been trying to figure out. I was thinking I would use that as stripes, so that's a potential, but I still haven't figured out my main color. And I want to knit my Wixom sweater in the Shetland yarn to match the hat that I made. So that's in my queue. What else did I say? Oh, I want to knit a cozy classic raglan. I have a La Bien-Aimée. I guess it's kind of a mini gradient set in fingering weight that I was going to hold double and use as like a colored panel in the yoke of a sweater. I don't know. And then I found 50 more things on Instagram and Ravelry that I saved. I have 97 sweaters that I want to make.
I wanted to knit a sweater, like I said, but I think I'm gonna go into shawls. Spring is a shawl time for me.
You wear a lot of shawls.
I wear a lot of shawls.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. I don't know why you don't.
I don't like the bulk around my neck.
Mm.
I don't mind them wrapped up in a coat,
Mm-hmm.
but to just have one on all day, I don't. But I like to wear sweaters and pullover sweaters all day, and you don't.
Right.
You would rather have on just a button-down shirt and a shawl.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have on a button-down shirt and a pullover sweater.
It's funny. I don't mind if certain parts of like my arms or like my body get cold. Like that doesn't really bother me. But my neck area, if that gets cold, I can't warm up. So I think that's why I like to wear shawls so much.
Yeah. I don't like having all the bulk around my neck. I'd rather be. Yeah.
So if you guys have any patterns in mind or that you're working on for shawls, leave a comment down below so I can look through them and see what everyone's working on. I need some inspiration and I'm looking for some shawls. So I've got yarn. Just let me know the pattern.
Got yarn. I'll just say, while we were getting ready to record, I was looking for the missing skein of yarn that I couldn't find 2 weeks ago.
That you lost.
I didn't put it where it was. That was all you.
But it was your yarn that you lost track of.
Because you shoved it in a bag and then shoved it in a cabinet.
I shoved it in your bag in your cabinet.
We have so much yarn in this house. I was literally stomping around this morning saying, like, only in this house could we literally lose a skein of yarn because there's so many. We have yarn.
Happens.
Everywhere.
It's insulation. We have an old house that's cold.
It's in virtually every room of this house.
At least every floor.
Friends, if we ever just panned this camera around this room, you would never speak to us ever again.
It's just here. It's on this wall.
That is 1000% a lie.
I mean, it's mostly on this wall.
You're literally staring at yarn all down this wall.
With a straight face.
It's in bins over there. It's upstairs. The sky is orange. Birds fly upside down. Like, you're just making up facts now. It's mostly on this wall.
The majority of it is here.
That is true. The majority of it is here.
It's concentrated here.
I mean, the majority of
it's organized here. Everywhere else is just a mess.
That's a true statement. It's organized here. There's a lot here. We don't actually... The majority of what we can see is here. But I would argue that we have so much yarn. That's okay. You know, we said we were prepared for an apocalypse, but what did we do in the middle of an apocalypse last year? We bought more yarn continuously.
As one does.
As one does. So we've busted our own justification in having a huge stash. By the way, somebody commented on one of our videos. It was so cute and asked how we keep our stashes separate.
Oh. Here's the thing. We're both knitters. I like to buy yarn. You like to use yarn.
Right? You like to start projects. I like to finish projects. Right. You like to buy yarn. I like to pick it up and use yarn.
Unless there is a specific project that I have in mind for yarn, I don't care. I mean, yarn is yarn. If you want to use it, go for it. At least it's getting used. I mean, yeah. I think it's silly to separate a stash when we're both knitters. Like I said, unless there's a specific project in mind.
I would say, generally speaking, we would ask each other if we could use something
Or hey, do you have a plan in mind?
That the other one had purchased to make sure that something didn't happen or didn't get purchased with a specific project in mind.
Right.
But generally...
Chances are, if it ended up in this wall, my intentions were good, but execution was bad. So that's why it's just here.
We also buy yarn because we enjoy it, and we like the colors, or we like the fiber or the dyers. We often do not have a project in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just here. It's here for the taking.
Yeah.
In fact, I realized how many sweater quantities of yarn are in those bins right there. I literally have no idea what you've been buying. I'm seeing whole sweaters worth of stuff. I should probably pay attention on this podcast.
Sure.
Hugh Loco. I just opened that bin and I was like, what is this? I'm pretty sure you talked about it, like with the whole universe.
Did I?
A couple of months ago.
I don't even remember.
I don't know either. Anyway, that's a long story to say we share our stash.
Yep.
And we have so much yarn, it's obscene. So
there's no claims to stash.
If you're ever in Kohler, give us a call and you can come shopping in our basement.
Uh-huh.
I will stuff yarn in your purse, your backpack, your messenger bag, your pockets.
Your
Come
basket.
on over. Yeah. Your wheelbarrow. You name it, we've got it.
Your U-Haul.
Yeah. We're rambling a lot. This is what happens when we've only been gone for 2 weeks. We just are talking about nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not working on anything else?
No.
We've been spending money. Should we talk about what we've been buying?
I haven't bought anything other than the cookbooks.
And the mug.
And the mug.
And this mug.
Oh, and that mug.
What he's not telling you about his relationship with Sarah is that...
I am the worst.
How many mugs have you purchased in the last 2 weeks?
Don't worry about it. We went from having...
Are you crying?
Well, my eyes are really dry and they're watery, but I'm also laughing, which means I'm crying.
So pitch
pine pottery.
That's a lot of alliteration.
It is, and I type it in wrong every time when I try and look up what she has. Anyways, so this is the pitch pine pottery. This is Remembrance's pottery, and that's Natalie.
So cute. This is a perfect example of you spending money in a way that I guess benefits me, because
I didn't even get to use that. I still haven't used it.
You used the little one because this one didn't come alone. It traveled with a smaller friend. But this mug is really cute.
Yeah.
It has little knitted sweaters.
She has a sock on clothesline like that, except it's a rainbow.
Oh, I forgot it has a little clothesline too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're hanging on a clothesline.
Little clothespins.
This is a really comfortable mug to hold.
So she had one that was different. It was a rainbow sock. So I think there was 11 different socks. Don't quote me on that.
Hang tight, it'll probably show up at our house at some point.
I mean, she may or may not be having an update sometime in the middle of the month. Heads up, everybody.
You just told everyone.
I will throw virtual elbows to get that mug.
Who will now carjack you?
Speaking of carjack, Sarah, because we were sharing pictures of potters and mugs online, back and forth to each other, I introduced a potter to her, and I was trying to get the mug. She carjacked me and stole the mug out of my cart that then showed up at her house. Beautiful mugs, but the exact mug. It has carrots on it, and so it's a natural color at the bottom half of the mug, and the top is white or like cream, and the carrots are painted on, and there's little like gold details. They're beautiful.
I did like the radish one.
Yeah, there's beets, radish, carrots. There might be another vegetable, but they're beautiful mugs.
They're gonna look great in our warehouse.
Well, if Sarah ever lets me get one, I can't believe she... Love her to bits and pieces, but she carjacked the mug out of my cart.
So
then she told me to be faster next time.
Pitch pine pottery.
Mm-hmm.
And who was this again?
Natalie, Remembrance's pottery.
Remembrance's pottery. So really cute. We have a smaller version of this same mug.
Mm-hmm. And the sweaters are neutrals, so it's like brown.
Oh, I don't even know that I'd pay.
Gray.
There's so many mugs everywhere. I hadn't even paid close enough attention to
There's
remember
like
the colors.
6 mugs.
So you've been buying mugs.
Uh-huh.
And
you bought yarn.
I have yarn.
This is a weird turn of events.
Right? I buy single skeins, though.
See, that's a problem, because then you end up with all these single skeins, and you could have ended up with a sweater quantity.
Right? I just have to lose enough weight that I can use the sweater quantities that you buy for yourself, because you don't always buy sweater quantities in my size. So I'm going to have a lot of striped yokes or color work, yeah. I have 2 purchases. So this one is not so much new, but I found it again.
It took, 2 months to arrive?
This took forever. So this is Mr. Wool, who is on Instagram. I'm so sorry, I don't know his actual name. I looked up on his Instagram and his website, and his name isn't listed there. But Mr. Wool, I've been following him for a long time, and I love his colorways. He's based in Santiago, Chile. And I ordered this before Christmas in the middle of shipping.
Are we sure about that? I thought it was Brazil. I thought it was like Sao Paulo.
No.
Okay.
I just looked it up today. Chile, not Brazil. Those are different countries, but same continent. You're close.
I know that.
So this is also on the label. I cannot find any information and didn't want to take the label off, but it's I can tell you it is a fingering weight yarn. I'll have to go back and look at my invoice.
It appears to be some sort of merino nylon blend.
It feels like merino nylon. It is gray, but has a ton of colors. So there's some bright green, a little bit of yellow, pinks, blues. I loved this. I've been trying to get a hold of one of these literally for like a year.
His updates sell out so fast.
So quickly. And I'm just not on Instagram often enough to keep a close eye on people's shop update times. So I just kept missing this particular color. I don't even remember what it's called. It is not on the label. I apologize that I did not try and find the email with my order. But here it is. I'm really excited to knit with it. The colors are beautiful. It would go great in a shawl. I have literally no idea. Oh, the cabled socks.
Light bulb just happened.
The cabled socks I just showed you. This would be great.
I only say that because don't you think it'll be a little busy?
No.
Okay.
Busy for what?
Cables? You do you. Knitting has no restraints.
It's a pair of socks. It's not like people are going to have to stare at it all day long.
I mean, I will.
I mean, if it were while I've got my feet up working, I don't think so. Yeah, this might actually. Thinking
that would probably be fun, and we even have, one of those. Oh, there's like rust over here, brown.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
So many color options for a contrasting heel and toe. This might make. I bought it with the intention to make socks, was what I thought, which is why I just bought the single skein.
Which leads me to believe that it is a merino nylon blend.
Because why not? So unknown yardage, unknown fiber, but it's beautiful, and I was really excited to get it. It did take like 2 months to get here. It shipped very quickly.
Right.
So I got a shipping notification.
Did you buy that in November?
It was pre-Christmas, but then it was in the shipping disaster. Plus, coming from Chile, it took a while to get here, but it showed up, and I'm really glad to have found it again. Thank you. Other yarn.
That is so bright.
It's amazing. So this is Lemonade Shop. Talk about shop updates that sell out super quickly. Heather's updates usually go fast. Although I missed it the first time because I wasn't paying attention, and I got it the second time. This is Lemonade Shop. This is Impeachment version 2. And it's a pretty, what would you say, a light peach?
I mean peach. Yeah.
Color, yeah. Oh, yeah, hi. Hello.
Not to state the obvious, but it's peach.
Literally as I'm saying the name of the yarn. So it's a light peach color, and then it's hard to see all wrapped up. But Heather, I think, is fairly well known for this style of dyeing, where she includes a kind of a ribbon of rainbow that then knits up into little rainbow squiggles. I have another yarn from her that I knit socks with years ago it's a similar concept, but on a dark gray base. So I'm excited to knit with this. I intend to make socks with this as well. Probably something,
I love that.
like a plain stockinette. Yep. So this, I remember she said something. She had impeachment version 1 and then the 1 was just the original, and then version 2 that included speckles of shame and something else. It made me giggle so much. But I loved the colors. I love her yarns. They're great to knit with. This is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon and 459 yards. So these skeins really have a lot of yardage in them, which is great. So even when I knit a full pair of socks, because I like to do contrasting heels and toes, I always have yarn left over. I don't know what to do with it. It could be Christmas balls, who knows? Maybe one day I'll buy an I-cord maker and just crank out, I don't know, 10,000 miles of I-cord.
Stitch it together, make a little rug
for
your office.
I don't know, make a cozy for the house. Yeah.
Cat bed.
Oh, cat beds. So I have those 2 skeins of yarn, which I'm really excited about. And then I have a new stitch marker.
Show off your stitch marker.
Remember my friend the Yeti, whose name is Theodore Bumble Yeti II?
Teddy Bumble.
Or Teddy the Yeti.
That makes sense.
Teddy Bumble, that makes no sense whatsoever. So Noelle of Charmed and Dangerous made little Sasquatches. Look at this Sasquatch. I can't even look at his little teeth. Oh, he's too close now. He has little teeth.
You gotta do the little podcaster doodad.
So he has teeth. He has little rosy cheeks, little round toes. He is so cute. I have not named him yet.
And this is my narwhal. Oh, don't look at my...
Oh, you have
my injury.
You just showed it to everybody a second ago.
I know, that was an accident.
Where you can't carry an aluminum pan.
It was... We're not even going to go there.
You can't be left alone. I have a full-time job keeping you safe.
It's hard to see, but real cute. Real cute.
So we now have at least... I don't know why we didn't bring them all now down. Oh my gosh, my stomach is growling. I'm sure someone will hear that on camera.
Hungry.
Well, we're not doing juice cleansing. Oh my gosh, what's happening to the camera? So we were lucky enough to get some of Noelle's. These are hard things to come by. These updates sell out so quickly.
She makes them all by hand, and she makes new ones every week. So
she does have, pretty much weekly updates, which is great.
Right.
So we now have 4 narwhal.
And I love them so much.
We have my little gray wintry one with the scarf.
Mm-hmm.
We have your little Valentine's one with the heart and the... Is that mine?
No, it's mine. Because we have a little pink narwhal.
No, this one's mine. That's Narissa. No, yours is the pink Valentine's
one. We have this one.
Oh, did we?
Yes, because we didn't talk to each other before we bought them.
Yeah, we don't... Oh. We have carjacked each other before in the same update. And then I was able to get you a B one for Valentine's Day.
It is so cute. It's gold, and it has like a little honeycomb tummy. And it's just... Really
and then you have a pink Valentine's one.
Yes.
It's really cute. So we have those, and now I have a Sasquatch and a Yeti. And a little Yoda, a baby Yoda, who's somewhere. He's vanished upstairs.
He disappeared into the ether with all of the other fiber-related goodies.
Right, when we had to clean our house in 5 seconds for the appraisal.
Our house is a TARDIS for wool. That was a perfect analogy.
Yeah. So that's pretty much my only purchases. I do have a couple of other things on the way.
Do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I have at least...
News to me.
I have at least 1 skein of self-striping yarn. Rainbow, go figure.
Oh, did you buy that?
Yes.
Oh.
Mm-hmm, because the first time you sent it to me, they were out. So
right.
I have more yarn coming. I think I might have 2 skeins.
Who are you buying yarn?
Where's the other one that came from Canada? Didn't it come already?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That was the rainbow with the speckle. Did I show it 2 weeks ago?
I still don't know what you're talking
about. There is more yarn in this house that I don't know about. So I have at least 1 more skein of yarn coming, and maybe 2, because there's probably 1 missing. It's a great question. We've got to come up with a system.
I don't know.
And then I may or may not have a Joji Locatelli bag coming.
You do?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Really excited about that. But that's my purchases.
All right.
Should we keep going?
Yeah.
Oh, so that's pretty much it for acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can talk about what we're up to next.
Yes. So, easy.
Flip my page over to remind me.
Hear that.
What?
Calm down.
Sorry, friends.
Coming
soon.
So, do you want to talk about that first, and then we can talk about that?
What is that? Oh, yeah, because I don't have that, actually. I have to go dig it out of there.
Oh, man. I thought it was over there.
No, it's over there.
Okay.
Hi.
And we're back.
We can't be trusted with anything. So what have we been doing? / what are we going to be doing?
/ what will we be doing?
Yeah, that's two things. Hi.
Let's just start that over.
I'm back.
We're going to be doing stuff, and you're going to talk about it.
Stuff now. Hi, this is the stuff section. Future stuff, current stuff. I've been recording some video tutorials showing my favorite sock techniques, and the response has been really great. Thank you for your comments. I've really enjoyed reading them. They've been fun to make. So I've recorded more tutorials. So far, I've shared picking up the stitches along the garter edge heel flap, and then we posted a video last weekend on the German twisted cast on in rib, which I didn't realize until someone pointed it out, that the purl portion is just a regular purl cast on, which I don't know that I'd ever done. I don't know that I've done just a long tail knit and purl cast on, but I've released the cast on video, and then I've recorded one for the slip stitch heel flap with the garter edge and the heel turn. So it's both the heel flap and the heel turn in one video. So if you want to see one or the other, you'll be able to skip ahead to the chapter for just one. And then yesterday I recorded a video showing the way I do my anatomical toes. So I followed along knitting this right hand toe and then showing how I do the Kitchener stitch, which is probably not much different than how other people do it, but I offered a little tip in there if you're nervous about your tension on the Kitchener stitch. I showed you how I knit mine a little bit loose and then go back and tighten it up at the end. So we've already recorded those. And then we have plans for a couple of additional tutorials or short videos. We've had requests for the afterthought heel with the mini gusset that you showed on a pair of socks that you knit for your dad for Christmas. Mm-hmm. So we'll record a quick video. That's a free pattern. Anything like this that I've been showing is either something that I do on my own or it's part of a free pattern or a blog post. So we'll record maybe next weekend a video on that.
And you're actually writing, finally, your basic sock recipe.
That eye roll was at me because
I don't know my ass.
I rolled my eyes, but not at you. I rolled my eyes at me because it sounds so simple to write down a pattern. I just make socks.
And you make them up on the fly.
And I make them up on the fly. And the patterns, I mean, I do follow a lot of patterns. I like cabled patterns, but I just do whatever I feel like a rib, a garter rib, stockinette, my slip stitch go-to. You know, they're not super complicated. They're usually 1 or 2 row patterns, but they're all up here and not written down anywhere. So I promise, I'm saying this publicly to be shamed if I fail. Impeachment.
There's no shame.
Impeachment version 3. Speckle me with shame. I'm going to try and have my slip stitch pattern and my basic stockinette sock patterns written by the end of the month and ready for some people to test knit. So the clock is ticking. I do have a couple of days PTO planned, and I'm going to try it. Maybe I'll work on that this week while I'm recovering from my injury.
Oh, your wrist.
my flax that broke me, apparently. Yeah, so we have a couple of videos coming. We're trying to release them on opposite weekends from the weekends we record so that we have stuff kind of coming out a little bit more regularly and not so many spaces in between. So we'll have the heel and toes videos. We'll, I think, do both of those next weekend. Mm-hmm. Is that what you decided? And then I'll record next weekend the mini gusset afterthought heel. So we'll have that in the queue. And then you're going to record some weaving videos.
Mm-hmm. I'll record some weaving videos, and I think there's going to be probably 4. And so they'll walk through like the steps of buying a loom, rigid heddle loom, that is, and kind of the ins and outs of a loom, the anatomy of it, warping and setting it up, getting it ready to weave. I'll talk through weaving on a rigid heddle loom and then finishing your weaving pieces afterwards. So the project I'll make is probably going to be a surprise set of dish towels. But a lot of you have been asking for those videos specifically, so I'm more than happy to get those recorded and kind of walk through the steps and help kind of show how I do it. And
I think similar to my sock knitting,
yes,
you've kind of been making up your towels a little bit on the fly.
Right.
So I think you had a lot of requests also to talk about how you design your towel, because you can't wing your warp. I mean, you can, but once it's on the loom,
right,
you
can't fudge it once it's on.
Yeah, there's,
so like
there's
when it's on, it's on.
It once it's on.
If you don't like something, you're kind of stuck with it. But
you have a little bit more flexibility with the weft as you're going along.
Right, warp goes this way, weft goes this way.
Yeah. So I think you were going to talk about picking out colors and how you draw out with colored pencils, what your warp might look like, and then start doing the math, which will be fun.
Yeah, so over the next, probably I would say 1 to 2 months, there will be a bunch of videos coming out, with our sock knitting, weaving, and anything else you guys want to see us walk through or talk through, or how we do it. Let us know. Just leave a comment down below, and we'll be more than happy to figure out how to record a video of it and post it. But they've been fun. You
doing 25 feet of warping, walking back and forth from the dining room to the living room.
I swear I wore a hole in the living room floor that day.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it for upcoming things. And then shop news. Do you have any shop news happening?
There was not a shop update in February because life.
I'm going to attempt to get the yarn.
Carefully.
I'll be back.
There was not a shop update in February, just needed a little bit of a break, but we will have one March 20th, and it's going to have a ton of different bags. There will...
Sorry, there's no way to do this.
Just do one. Anything.
Hi.
So there will be a ton of bags, and there will be some other fun things that have also been taking up my time that I'll be able to show you then. But I'm going to leave it as a surprise. So we'll record we'll record in 2 weeks, and I'll preview everything beforehand. But all I'm going to say, as kind of a spoiler or a hint, is if you like wool, specifically tweeds from Shetland, you're going to want to check out this next update. There's a lot of great things that are going to be in the shop, and some really cool projects that I've been working on, and I almost want to get one to show you, but I won't this time. We'll preview it in the next episode. But a lot of really great, cool project bags and other stuff coming into the shop.
On the 20th?
On the 20th of March, and that is a Saturday, and the update will be 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. And then we have yarn for a giveaway. So Emily of Turtle Purl Yarns was kind enough to send us some yarn. She sent a couple of different skeins, but we're going to give one away. So this is her colorway, Live Long and Prosper, which couldn't be more fitting. I think it's so great. So this is 2 smaller skeins or half skeins of self-striping sock yarn along with a mini, and they are dyed to match. And having knit with several of Emily's yarns before, there's a ton of yardage here. Well over
450 yards per 100 grams. It's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon 4-ply yarn.
Yes, and you can actually turn that around to show everybody what the striping looks like. So these are skeins that are dyed together to match, and we're going to give this one away. So if you're interested, Caleb is going to tell you how to enter the giveaway.
I forgot what we said for the requirements, but
spring.
So As the weather is starting
Is it
to
on
change.
your page anywhere? Literally right here.
Oh yeah. So as the weather's starting to change, specifically in the northern hemisphere, we're getting more geared up for warmer weather and kind of itching to go outside and start planting things. And so we wanted to ask to enter the giveaway, leave a comment down below, and we'll choose a winner. We'll choose a winner when we record next. So we'll leave it open from now until Saturday, March 20th, 2021. I almost forgot what year it was. But the prompt is, what are you up to? What are you excited about? What are you most looking forward to for the next season? So whether that be, getting out and enjoying some different weather, or in the southern hemisphere, I think it's starting to get a little bit colder there. So like, what are you guys looking forward to most? Or what spring or fall projects are you interested in starting or getting into? It's not autumn in the southern hemisphere? Isn't it summer right now? Because we're in winter? I don't know how this works.
I don't know either.
That's a great question.
I just had a thought. Like, is it spring everywhere, but spring gets cold for some people and warm for others?
Or do they call spring autumn?
We're going to look really foolish now.
Yeah. I feel like this is something we should have looked up before.
If you live in the southern hemisphere, explain to us how your seasons work. Is winter no matter what? And winter is warm for some people?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to say I'm embarrassed that I don't know this.
Wouldn't Christmas for Australia, for example, Australia folks, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't Christmas in the summer for you?
Yeah, like, is summer always warm?
My mind is like
we're gonna be attacked.
But anyways,
in the comments,
let us know what you're looking forward to for the next season ahead, whether that be spring, summer, winter, fall, whatever it is.
What are you doing in March?
Yeah.
March and April.
There you go. What are you gonna do for March and April? And we'll choose a winner in 2 weeks and get that mailed off. So we'll leave this open internationally, and then when we choose a winner randomly, we will
reach out.
We'll have you send us an email, and then we'll get that sent off for you.
And as a reminder, if you're not interested in this giveaway, Emily has provided a coupon code for us that is Bearded Purl. We'll have Caleb include that with the notes, but you can go and check out her other colorways. I saw she just posted a shop update in the last couple of days. So if you're interested in her yarn, but not necessarily this, we also have a coupon code available. And the cat has shown up.
I was gonna say, it took her a while, but she showed up. There she is.
So on that, I think that's all we had to cover.
It is.
It's a lot of talking today. Not so much a lot of knitting, but a lot of crafting. So now that Daffodil's here, we will wish you a happy week. Hope you have a nice couple of weeks. The weather here has been beautiful, so we're looking forward to walks outside when it's not 15 below, and we will catch you again on the 20th. So we'll see you then. Happy crafting, and thanks for joining us.
See you soon.
Bye, everybody.